The name 3i Atlas has escaped the scientific bubble. An interstellar object crossing the solar system stopped being an astronomy topic and became public conversation, trending material, a source of panic about the end of the world, and the target of religious interpretation. That alone is historic, but the real turning point was something else. Elon Musk publicly commented on 3i Atlas, suggesting that maybe we are not just looking at another comet, but at something that looks too precise to be purely natural. When someone with global reach says that, the cultural impact is immediate. People who have never heard the word interstellar start talking about orbital planes, approach velocity and impact risk. The subject left astronomy and entered the general imagination. So first we need to explain what 3i Atlas actually is, without emotional framing. 3i Atlas is an interstellar object. That means it was not born here. It did not form together with the planets of the solar system billions of years ago. It came from outside. It crossed into the sun's gravitational domain and is now being tracked as it passes through. That alone puts 3i Atlas in an extremely rare category, a visitor from beyond the solar system that we actually detected during its passage. Objects like this carry physical information about other regions of the galaxy. For science, they are priceless. For the public, they are pure fuel for speculation. That is exactly what opened the door for people to call 3i Atlas a ship. The word ship is emotional. It implies steering, targeting, intention. The issue is that nothing measured so far requires the ship hypothesis. The trajectory of 3i Atlas matches what gravity can do. It is moving through the same general reference plane where the planets orbit, a plane called the ecliptic. This is not mystical, forbidden, or mathematically impossible, the way some viral claims are presenting it. The so-called impossible coincidence is in reality just orbital geometry. It is absolutely possible for an object arriving from interstellar space to cut through the solar system roughly aligned with the average orbital plane of the planets. The inclination is not zero, but it is not extreme either. A few degrees of difference are expected. That does not violate physics. That does not prove intelligent guidance. Now about the speed. The number 200,000 has been circulating online as if it were supernatural. So let's set it correctly. The characteristic velocity estimate for 3i Atlas is on the order of 58 kilometers per second. We will walk that slowly. 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. Around 60 kilometers per second means that in one single second, the object covers tens of thousands of meters. If you convert that to hours, you reach something like 200,000 kilometers per hour. 200,000 kilometers per hour sounds shocking to a human brain that is used to cars, planes, and rockets. But for an interstellar object, that range is consistent. Why? Because for an object to enter the solar system from deep space and not get captured permanently by the sun, it must be moving faster than the sun's escape velocity at that distance. If it were too slow, the sun would trap it. If it is not trapped, it is fast. That relatively high speed is, in fact, one of the main clues that 3i Atlas is interstellar. It is moving quickly enough that it will not remain bound to the sun. It will pass through and leave. That does not require secret propulsion. That does not require hidden engines. That is exactly what orbital mechanics predicts. However, when Elon Musk publicly says that the path 3i Atlas is following looks too aligned, too perfect, too precise, the internet immediately turns that into, "This is a ship." And from that point forward, the escalation begins. People start repeating without context claims like, "The speed is wrong, that the math doesn't work. Scientists have never seen this, yet no one can explain it." That creates real fear in people who are only getting fragments. Ordinary viewers begin asking questions like, "If it hits Earth, is everything over? How should I take my money out of the bank? Why is this happening now? So do we have an impact date?" Panic is no longer fiction. Panic becomes a product. So let's apply brakes to the fear. 3i Atlas is not on a collision course with Earth. It is not even close enough for that to be physically plausible in the short term. The path being tracked shows it moving at enormous distances on the other side of the solar system relative to us, not in our immediate neighborhood. Far in this context does not mean barely misses us and they're lying. Far means astronomically far. The narrative, "It will slam into Earth and end everything," is not supported by the current data. Another claim that went viral is this idea: if it hits, Earth is finished, but that will not happen, because first the sun will go dark. That sounds like a joke, but there is an interesting piece hidden inside it. There is a religious reading of the end of the world that says, the sun will be shut down. From an astronomical point of view, this is literally true, just not in the way people imagine. In something like 5 billion years, the sun will exhaust the hydrogen in its core, expand into a red giant, destabilize the inner solar system, and ultimately strip or engulf the inner planets. In plain terms, before any random comet wipes us out tomorrow, our own star will eventually roast and consume us. So when someone says, do not panic, because first the sun goes dark, they are mixing two timelines that do not belong together. One timeline is real stellar evolution on billion-year scales. The other timeline is, I am afraid I might not wake up tomorrow morning. Merging those two timelines into one continuous story creates confusion. It gives the impression that there is a scheduled cosmic script unfolding right now. It makes the danger feel religious, scientific, and urgent all at once. That confusion is powerful. It holds the audience. It keeps attention locked to every new clip. Another element that fueled fear was the claim that 3I Atlas is coming straight in, changing speed and correcting its own course, as if it were actively piloted. The statement people repeat is, it accelerates, decelerates, shifts trajectory, lines up with the sun, then adjusts again. That would indeed be evidence of intelligent control, if it were true. But the observational data do not show that. What the observatories are tracking looks like a body following a predictable gravitational path. There is no confirmed record of controlled, intentional course corrections. There is no confirmed record of deliberate braking and rethrust that cannot be explained by standard comet physics. Here is a piece most people online never hear. Comets heat up when they get closer to a star. When they heat up, trapped ices turn into gas and burst outward, carrying dust with them. These localized jets of escaping material can create tiny changes in velocity and direction. To someone who does not know comet behavior, this micro-nudging looks like steering. To astronomers, it is just outgassing. It is standard behavior. It is not science fiction. It is not an alien pilot gently tapping thrusters. It is sunlight warming ice. This same physical process also explains something else that was distorted: the tail. A very viral headline claimed that scientists were baffled because the interstellar visitor had reversed its engines before disappearing. That headline was pushed as proof that 3I Atlas is a craft performing a controlled reversal burn. But when you actually read the technical part of the report, the so-called reversal refers to the direction of the visible tail. At one point, the tail looked like it was pointing in an unexpected direction. Later, it appeared to flip. That flip was then translated into the object reversed thrust. In reality, the explanation is natural. Dust and gas respond differently to solar radiation and the solar wind. Heavier grains behave one way. Lighter volatile material behaves another way. As the object heats up, the composition of what is being ejected changes. That changes the appearance and orientation of the tail. Sometimes the tail can appear to point in a way that looks counterintuitive to an untrained eye, almost like it is ahead of the motion. Later, as other material is released, the tail points in the more familiar away from the sun direction again. To a headline writer, this is dramatic reversal of thrust. To physics, this is sunlight pushing particles. There is no hidden engine. There is radiation pressure. Put all of this together and look at the picture. We have an interstellar body moving fast, crossing the solar system, showing tail behavior that looks exotic to non-specialists, traveling in a plane similar to the planetary plane at a moment when social media is optimized for instant panic. And Elon Musk is publicly suggesting that maybe this is not just ice and rock. The result is obvious. Clips explode. Out-of-context quotes circulate. Religious interpretations surge. Words like impact, extinction, end, prophecy start appearing in comments. People begin asking whether they should prepare to escape the planet. This is the moment where we have to state the core facts as cleanly as possible. 3I Atlas is not currently on an Earth impact trajectory. 3I Atlas has not been confirmed to perform self-guided maneuvers. 3I Atlas has not been proven to be an artificial craft. What we are actually seeing is a natural interstellar object doing natural interstellar object things, while a huge portion of the public is being introduced to astronomy for the first time through fear. And that last point is extremely important. People are not arriving at astronomy through curiosity, beauty, or fascination with cosmic chemistry. They are arriving through a feeling of threat. They are arriving through the idea that this could wipe us out tonight. When you mix existential fear, deep space, and a globally influential figure like Elon Musk saying, "Look at this," pure scientific context loses almost every time. That is how collective anxiety is created and monetized. This first half needs to be understood as the foundation. 3I Atlas is not an announcement of invasion, not a cosmic missile, not final proof of intelligent contact. It is something maybe even more profound. Proof that fragments from beyond our solar system really do pass through our neighborhood, and we are now technologically capable of watching them in real time. The galaxy is not a distant abstraction. It is literally flying past us. We are witnessing it live. Now comes the second half. At this point, it is not only about astronomy. It is about society, emotional engineering, headlines, interpretation, and fear. A British tabloid recently published a headline claiming that scientists were stunned because the interstellar visitor seemed to reverse its thrust before vanishing. That headline was immediately circulated as proof of intelligent propulsion. It was used to say, see? They admitted it is a ship. They just will not say the word ship. That reading is false. And here is why it is dangerous. The body of the article, when read in full, does not actually support the promise made by its own headline. What the technical paragraphs describe is simply this: the apparent inversion of the comet's tail. The so-called dramatic reversal was not a pilot braking. It was not a craft stopping mid-space to hover. It was dust and gas reacting to solar energy. To restate this with zero drama. As 3I Atlas warmed, the material it was ejecting changed. Different materials behave differently under sunlight and under the solar wind. The visual tail pivoted. That was sold as reversed thrust. But physically it is radiant pressure acting on particulate matter. That is it. Why does this matter? Because most people never get to that explanation. They only consume the headline. They read "scientists baffled" and translated emotionally into "scientists confirmed it is a ship." The headline becomes the truth. The context is discarded. And this produces a new kind of misinformation. Misinformation that is not a complete fabrication, but a distortion amplified by the way attention is harvested online. The headline becomes the product. The science becomes background noise. If this were just celebrity gossip, that would be one thing. But here the topic is planetary destruction, global extinction, cosmic collision, the sun shutting down, the end of Earth. This is perfect emotional material to generate panic. People are genuinely losing sleep because they believe 3I Atlas is on a direct collision path that will erase the planet. And that fear is being powered by two engines: technological authority and religious narrative. First, technological authority. When Elon Musk comments on a space event, a psychological switch flips for millions of people. If he is talking about it, it must be serious. Elon Musk, in the public mind, is associated with rockets, Mars, and the future of humanity in space. So his speculation is not received as speculation. It is received as something close to an internal briefing. When he suggests that the trajectory looks too perfect, that suggestion is elevated emotionally to, "This might actually be guided." The audience then treats that emotional elevation as verified truth. At that point, a short clip of opinion has more weight for some viewers than weeks of orbital measurements. Second, religious narrative. The line, "First the sun will go dark," was delivered as a way to calm people. Do not panic about 3I Atlas hitting Earth, because according to the prophecy, the sun goes dark first. Many people then heard that as if there were an official cosmic timeline, already confirmed by science, that will unfold step by step. Suddenly, real stellar evolution, which is a multi-billion-year physical process, is merged with immediate apocalyptic anxiety, which is an emotional process happening right now. When those timelines are fused in someone's head, the result feels inevitable. It feels divinely scripted, scientifically backed and urgent. That is extremely powerful psychologically. It locks attention. It keeps people watching every new update. It produces engagement. And this is exactly where 3I Atlas stops being just an interstellar object and becomes a case study in modern information flow. The pattern is always the same. A legitimate technical fact is published. An interstellar object has been detected. It is moving fast. Its path has been calculated. Its activity near the sun has been observed. A high-visibility personality translates that into a public narrative with emotional framing. This looks too aligned to be natural. This could be a craft. This could be a message. A click-driven media detects that emotional spike and responds with amplified headlines. Scientists stunned. Never-before-seen maneuver. Reverse thrust detected. Most of the audience only reads the headline and the most alarming phrases, ignores the context and upgrades speculation to certainty. Fear starts compounding. People comment, repost, ask if they should take extreme action before it is too late. That fear, in the form of engagement, rewards the original emotional framing, which encourages more of the same. The cycle closes. Panic becomes a product. Now observe the effect on astronomy itself. Astronomy operates in a cold, precise language: angular position, brightness variation, spectral lines, mass loss rate, tail dynamics, dust particle size, outgassing profiles. It is a language that almost never breaks through to the mainstream because it is careful, methodical, and slow. Suddenly, that same language is thrown into an arena where the rule is the opposite. Everything must be urgent, shocking, definitive. There is no room for subtlety. Either it is just dust and nobody cares, or it is an intelligent craft from outside the solar system performing controlled maneuvers, and the entire internet explodes. The scientific community, which is used to talking to itself, is now forced to fight for narrative control against panic-optimized content and against apocalyptic interpretations. That collision, which is between slow science and fast fear, is happening live in real time, while 3I Atlas crosses our solar system. And this leads to a deeper question, one more serious than the object itself. What happens when real contact, if it ever occurs, does not arrive as a dramatic landing, but as a subtle anomaly buried in data? If today, with a natural interstellar body, the public reaction is already fear, plus misinformation, plus prophecy, plus financial anxiety, what would happen if we ever detected something that truly did not fit known physics? How do you communicate that to billions of people without triggering social collapse? How do you describe real risk without freezing entire economies? If this situation, which fears not an existential threat, already caused people to panic, how will humanity handle an event that actually is unprecedented? There is also another side to all this, and it is not negative. The attention created by Elon Musk's comments and by all the viral discussion shows that the general public is ready to engage with concepts that, until recently, were mostly limited to conferences and research papers. Now everyday people are casually using terms like ecliptic, escape velocity, hyperbolic trajectory, interstellar object. People are asking about chemical composition, dust tails, solar heating, and ejection of material. That did not happen at this scale a few years ago. 3I Atlas has become an entry point. It pulled new eyes into astronomy. It made the universe feel immediate, almost personal. Space stopped being a distant museum exhibit and became something urgent and alive. But that entry point comes with a cost. Many people are meeting astronomy for the first time through fear. They are learning what a comet is, not because of curiosity about ice and rock, but because of anxiety about planetary destruction. They are learning what a tail is not through a calm explanation of solar wind physics, but through a headline that screams, "It fired reverse thrusters and disappeared." They are learning that the sun will eventually die, but they are receiving that fact inside a narrative that treats it like a countdown that could trigger tomorrow. Science is arriving, but it is arriving wrapped in panic. So, at this point, we need to deliver a clean, unemotional, technically accurate summary. 3I Atlas is a natural interstellar body moving through our solar system. It is traveling fast because it is not gravitationally bound to the sun. It is crossing a plane similar to the planetary orbital plane because that is physically possible under celestial mechanics. It is not on an impact trajectory with Earth. It has not demonstrated confirmed intelligent steering. The apparent maneuvers, decelerations, and reversed thrust can be explained by heating near the Sun and the resulting release of gas and dust, which changes the look and orientation of its tail. The tail's inversion is not the same thing as a spacecraft throwing itself into reverse. The dramatic headline that talks about engines is built to harvest clicks, not to educate. Most importantly, there is no credible indication of an imminent world-ending collision. At the same time, the 3I Atlas moment reveals something about us. It shows how quickly fear becomes engagement. It shows how a fragment of ice and dust from another star system, something that should inspire wonder, humility, and curiosity, can be turned into a mass-produced apocalypse story in less than 24 hours. It shows how the words of a single high-profile figure, in this case Elon Musk, can reshape the entire global tone of the conversation about an astronomical object. This is not going to stop. 3I Atlas will not be the last interstellar visitor we detect. Others will come. Some will be larger. Some will be brighter. Some will carry chemical signatures that are harder to classify. Some will produce light curves that will not make sense right away. Every single time that happens, the same machine will turn on: fear, theory, headline, panic. So here is the strategic lesson going forward. Whenever a space object makes mainstream news and the tone is already apocalypse, impact trajectory, intelligent maneuver, scientists have no explanation. Pause. Breathe. Look for the technical numbers, not just the loudest sentence. Ask, what is the distance? What is the speed? What is the orbital inclination? Is it actually approaching or just passing? What is the physical explanation for the tail behavior? Is solar heating involved? Is dust release involved? Is the solar wind involved? Find sources that discuss radiation pressure, outgassing, and orbital mechanics, not only sources that discuss prophecy and panic. Read past the headline, because the truth is this: the universe actually is violent. The universe actually will eventually end our habitability here. The sun really will destroy the inner solar system one day. Those are real facts, but fear is not the message. Fear is the packaging. The message is something else. The message is that we are now able in real time to watch pieces of other star systems drift through our own. We are literally observing matter that was born around another sun, somewhere else in the galaxy, cross our neighborhood. We are witnessing it with instruments, with data, with eyes. That alone means we are not isolated. The solar system is not a sealed box. We are part of a constant galactic traffic. Atlas is not proof of invasion. 3I Atlas is proof of connection. Proof that material from beyond our sun actually reaches us. Proof that the galaxy is not far away. It is interacting with us. Proof that cosmic history is not theoretical. It is passing right now and leaving a trail of dust we can study. So the real question is not, are we all going to die tomorrow? The real question is, are we prepared to understand what arrives in our solar system without instantly turning science into panic? If the answer is still no, then the real problem is not 3I Atlas. The real problem is us.